What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? It's your boy Chris. It's your boy Chris. It's another amazing episode of Financipation. This channel is all about making money. This channel is all about saving money. It's all about building generational wealth, and it's all about financially emancipating yourself from generational poverty. On this channel, everybody, I give you a six-figure MBA level worth of investing financial knowledge for free here on YouTube. And the things that people typically spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to learn in grad school and in business school, I give it to you for free on Financipation. And as a person who has an MBA, I feel very comfortable telling you that. Before I get started, I also want to give a shout out to one of my sponsors, Clinical Solutions. If you need someone to do digital marketing, website development, or someone to essentially edit your YouTube videos, they're the best in the business at meeting all of your digital needs. Also, hit that notification bell so you know when I drop new content, okay? One of the biggest lies that I constantly hear on social media, on famous cable news outlets, and from a lot of my fellow YouTubers is that Black Americans are poor. Some even go as far to say things and to use dog whistle BS like Black Americans are lazy, that we don't take school seriously, that we aren't interested in becoming entrepreneurs or opening our own businesses, and that we're just perfectly comfortable just being athletes and rappers and things like that. And literally everybody, none of that stuff is true. And I'm going to spend this entire podcast going into all the details and all the numerical numbers that show that Black Americans are not lazy. We're not thugs. We're not rappers. And more importantly, we are not poor. For historical purposes, I'll say it to you like this as well. The richest man in history was actually a Black African Muslim Mali king named Mansa Musa, who ruled from 1312 AD to 1337 AD. And when you factor in inflation, Mansa Musa had more money than Elon Musk, Bill Gates, the Vanderbilts, and Rockefeller combined. But like so many things in American history and in the Western media, no one ever talks about guys like Mansa Musa. And he was the richest man in history. If I told you the richest man in history was Black, how many of you guys would be surprised about that? So let's get started, okay? Because Black Americans are not poor. The first lie I want to debunk is that Black men only want to be rappers and athletes, and that we have no desire to be scientists, lawyers, doctors, or like yours truly, engineers. So according to a 2023 study that was done by Indeed.com, the average lawyer in America makes $90,000. The average doctor in America makes $295,000. The average engineer in America makes $101,000. The average scientist makes $95,000. And the average blue-collar electrician in America makes $80,000 per year. The average NBA player makes $10 million per year, and the average NFL player makes $800,000 per year. According to a 2018 study that was done by CNN, there are 42,000 Black men in America that are lawyers. There are 26,000 Black men in America that are doctors. There are 130,000 Black men in America, like yours truly, that are engineers. There are 80,000 Black men in America that are scientists. There are 60,000 Black men in America that are electricians. And there are 264 Black men in the NBA, and there are 950 Black men in the NFL. People, based off of the numbers that I just got done saying in regards to the thousands of Black men that are lawyers, doctors, and engineers, and the amount of money that you make in those professions, do we really sound like a group of people that are poor and that are destitute? Oh yeah, for what it's worth, there are less than 1,000 Black men that are signed onto major record labels as rappers. I've always found it interesting that there are literally over 300 times more Black men in America that are scientists, engineers, lawyers, doctors, and essentially mathematicians than that are rappers or athletes. But when the numbers clearly show this, and when these numbers come out, no one wants to talk about it. I've always found it interesting, once again, everybody, that when you factor in the amount of people that, once again, went to college and became CPAs, that became lawyers, that became doctors, and then became engineers who look like me, they never show us on television. We are never seen. We act like we don't exist. But there are 300 times more of us than people who basically run up and down a football field, run up and down a basketball court, or who basically are spitting lyrics on an album. Wake up, everybody. This is by design. There is a system in place, unfortunately, wants to keep a permanent working underclass in America. And unfortunately, people want that permanent working underclass to look like people who look like me. But when it boils down to it, a lot more Black men are aspired to be doctors, lawyers, and engineers than that are rappers or athletes. Wake up, America. Next, the next lie I want to debunk is that Black people don't take education seriously and that we are dumb. According to a 2023 study that was done by ZDNet and a 2022 study that was done by Cron, Nigerian Americans have the highest percentage of graduate degrees in the United States of America. If you're not familiar with it, Nigeria is a country in Africa. In other words, Nigerian Americans are Black. And at 43.8%, the Nigerian American community has achieved a higher percentage of college degrees than any other group of Americans, with Asian Americans coming in slightly behind Nigerians at 42.5%. Nor is this only encapsulated in first-generation Asians or first-generation Nigerian Americans, because on average, 63% of first-generation Nigerians have a bachelor's degree compared to 52% of Asians, and 14% of second-generation Nigerians have a PhD compared to only 7.3% of Asians. As a mechanical engineer with an MBA, I can personally attest to the fact that there were a disproportionately large amount of Nigerian and Asian men, for that matter, in my engineering classes, in my physics classes, and in my science classes. And many of the Nigerian men that I went to school and I studied with were Yoruba or Igbo. And in addition to my Asian and my Indian classmates, I found the Nigerians that I worked with in college and in corporate America to be extremely smart and to be very, very hard workers. It's interesting because the US media constantly pushes the narrative that Black Americans, particularly Black American men, are lazy, dumb, and dangerous, and that we don't take school seriously. Whereas in reality, the studies clearly show that the highest percentage of any group of people in America with a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, and a PhD are African Americans that hail from Nigeria. People, wake up. The next lie I want to debunk is this lie that says Black Americans are lazy and that we don't want to become entrepreneurs. We're perfectly comfortable working menial jobs for someone else that doesn't look like us. This is complete garbage, everybody. It's another lie that is pushed by the Western media and something I want to completely debunk. This BS is pushed by our media and it's statistically, once again, not true and is not based on any kind of factual or numerical reality. According to a 2023 study that was done by the Washington Post, America adds 500,000 new businesses a month. And that same study shows that entrepreneurship rates are the actual highest in America for Black women and for Hispanic adults at 35% and 27%. Whereas white Americans in 2023 only accounted for 15% of new businesses that were added. And once again, that same study that I talked about shows that Black females are actually the fastest growing segment of Americans that are opening businesses in the United States. As a guy who has dealt with a lot of racism in corporate America, it does not surprise me at all that Black and Hispanic women are leading the charge in becoming entrepreneurs. Because when it boils down to it, if you are a female in a corporate environment, you're most likely dealing with racism and sexism. So why would you want to continue to put yourself in that situation? You want to start a business and then get out of there. A 2023 study that was done from BAPS in the London School of Business shows that Black Americans between the ages of 18 to 34 were literally twice as likely to start a business as those between the ages of 35 to 64. And as a Black person, it makes me very happy to know that more and more young brothers and more young Black women are starting businesses and becoming entrepreneurs, because entrepreneurship and creating your own job is one of the three main pillars that communities use to build generational wealth. I find it very interesting that people have this narrative out here that Black people don't want to start businesses when studies show that we are the fastest group out of any group of America of actually starting businesses. Wake up, people. It's all by design. They want us to look dumb and they want us to look stupid because it creates a narrative that we're a permanent working underclass, and we very clearly, based off these numbers, are not. Next, the next lie I want to debunk is a lie that says Black Americans are poor, we're mostly on welfare, and then we don't have any money. According to a 2022 study that was done by CNBC, Black Americans have an annual spending power of over $1.6 trillion. And according to a 2023 study that was done by CNN, Black Americans today have spending power of $1.7 trillion. Let's go with the $1.6 trillion number, okay? At $1.6 trillion, as Black Americans, our annual spending power is larger than the gross domestic product in the economies of the following countries: Australia, South Korea, North Korea, Canada, Spain, Indonesia, Saudi Arabia, Holland, Turkey, Switzerland, Taiwan, Poland, Sweden, Belgium, Ireland, Israel, United Arab Emirates, Thailand, Bangladesh, the Philippines, and Vietnam. It's interesting how you always hear Fox News and CNN refer to Black Americans as poor, yet study after study shows that Black Americans have a higher annual spending power than the average economies and the annual economies of 99% of the countries on the planet, including 22 superpowers that I just got done naming. So next time you see a talking head on one of these political TV shows and news outlets saying that Black Americans are poor, please politely remind them that Black Americans have a higher annual spending power than over 99% of the countries in the world. In fact, with the annual spending power of $1.7 trillion, Black Americans would be the 15th largest country in the world. And that's only the Black people in America. It's not including the ones in the Caribbean. It's not including the ones in Africa. It's not including the Black millionaires in Europe or in Asia. So imagine for 1 second, Black Americans, we stop spending money and stop spending $1 billion a year on weaves, on Jordans, and instead started investing a quarter of that 1.6 trillion or $400 billion every year into our Roth IRAs, into property, into land, into real estate, into investments, and into custodial accounts and the 529s for our children's college education. Imagine if we did that. Imagine if we put this money into these type of investment accounts instead of wasting our money on useless liabilities. And if we invested $400 billion every year with the power of compounding interest in literally one generation, we would be the wealthiest group of people in America. Think about that for a minute, everybody. As I've said, everybody on this podcast, I'm not anti any other group, and this is not my. I don't run the kind of YouTube channel where I want to basically put one group against another. That's not my thing. But I am sick and tired of this narrative that Black Americans are poor, because we're not poor. The problem with our community, just like every other community I see in America, because all Americans for the most part are not investing what they should, is that we don't invest the money that we make, and we were never taught how to be financially literate. And you know what? That's why I started Financipation, because I'm changing all of that. Please hit that notification bell so you know when I drop new content. Please hit that like button. Please comment. Please share. Please subscribe. It helps the algorithm. And I thoroughly enjoy giving you guys free content, okay? The last lie that I wanted to debunk that says that there aren't that many Black men that are millionaires, that in general we are an underperforming group of people and all that kind of stuff. People is like this. I always say on my podcast that America is the greatest country in the world when it comes to building generational wealth. And I mean that ish, because as it currently stands, there are 22 million Americans that are millionaires. According to a 2023 study that was done by Zipia, 8% of Americans millionaires are Black, 8% of American millionaires are Asian, and 6.8% of Americans millionaires are Latino. There are 1.8 million Black American millionaires in America, and Black men make up 70% of that 1.8 million. There are 1.8 million Asian men in America, and Asian men make up 65% of the millionaires in the Asian race. There are 1.5 million Hispanic American millionaires in America, and Latino men make up 70% of the millionaires in their race. Based on this 2023 Zipia study, there are around 11.2 million white men in America that are millionaires. There are 1.2 million Black men in America that are millionaires. There are 1.1 million Asian men in America that are millionaires. And there are 1 million Latino men in America that are millionaires. People, based off the numbers provided in this 2023 study, the second highest number of millionaire men in America behind white men are Black men. These are millionaire Black men like Mark Washington, like Ulrich Joseph, like Scott Harvey Lewis, like Garvin Mark, like Randall Pinkett, and like Bob Johnson. These are billionaires Black men like Robert Smith, like Magic Johnson, like Tyler Perry, like LeBron James. It's very interesting how certain cable news outlets and political talking heads and hip hop in general, culture in general, constantly portrays this image of Black men as being thugs, lazy, and stupid, and as not having any money. When in reality, the numbers clearly show the second highest number of millionaires in America behind white men are Black men. I find this to be insanely impressive when you really consider the fact that the second highest group of men in America that are millionaires are Black men. When you consider stuff like slavery, Jim Crow, mass incarceration, the war on drugs, redlining districts, things of that nature, 275 years of slavery, housing discrimination, and making it perfectly legal to discriminate against Black men and not allowing us to basically buy property in cities like Baltimore, Detroit, and Orlando as late as the 1980s. Poll taxes, literacy taxes that makes it harder for you to vote. Is Rosewood, Florida, Tulsa, Oklahoma, a war on drugs, mass incarceration, as I said earlier. I find it very interesting that with all these racial impediments and all these things, systems that are set up in place to keep Black people poor, that the second highest number of millionaires in America are Black men. 70% of Black people are in the middle class. The vast majority of Black people do not live in the ghetto or government housing. The fastest percentage of entrepreneurs in this country are Black people. And the number one group of entrepreneurs in America right now, according to 2023, were Black females. And it's also to be noted that the highest percentage of people in America with a bachelor's degree and a master's degree and a doctorate are my Nigerian American brothers that come to this country, as well as their children. People, these are the statistics and the facts that you will literally never hear on television or on social media. You won't hear this stuff on the cable news outlets because it doesn't bind to the narrative. Just like you will never hear the richest man in history was a Black Muslim named Mansa Musa. Everyone, this is literally the reason why I started Financipation, because not only do I enjoy teaching people how to make money, how to save money, how to build generational wealth, I'm doing my small part to literally change this nonsensical narrative that the Black community is poor, because we simply are not. The problem with the Black community is like every other community in America, we were never taught how to properly invest our money. And that, everyone, is why I started Financipation, because I want a lot more than only 8% of Americans who look like me to be millionaires, okay? With that, everybody, it's your boy Chris. This channel is all about making money. It's all about saving money. It's all about building generational wealth, and it's all about financially emancipating yourself from generational poverty, okay? You can book a one-on-one session with me at any point, everyone. The link is below. I'm not giving you financial advice, and you must make your responsible decisions based on the thorough independent research that you do for yourself, okay? Please follow me at www.therealfinancipation.com, on Instagram, @thereal_financipation. You can check me on Spotify or TikTok. It's like it's spelled back in that sign right there, Financipation. My Facebook page is Financipation. And check out my financial blog, Financipation, as well, okay? Also, check out some of my digital e-products below as well, and hit that notification bell. Please like, please comment, please share, please subscribe. It helps the algorithm, and I thoroughly enjoy giving you guys free content. It's your boy, Chris. I'm out. Peace. Peace.